Vince Gill has won a lot of awards. He has 22 Grammy Awards. People like him a lot. He is in the Country Music Hall of Fame. Fans and other musicians think he is great. Vince Gill has not had an easy life. He has a smile and seems like a calm person. Vince Gill has had to deal with a lot of pain. He has been through tragedy. Vince Gill has had to make some choices. These choices could have changed his music career completely. Vince Gill is still doing well though. Vince was 67 years old when he decided to talk about the things that really inspired his music. He talked about the times, the things he had to give up, and his beliefs. Vince shared these stories because he wanted people to understand him. When you listen to his songs, you can tell they are very personal. This is because Vince is not afraid to be honest about his feelings. His music is special because it comes from a place. Vince's strength comes from being vulnerable and sharing himself with people, not from being famous. Vince had a normal childhood in Norman, Oklahoma. He found music when he was really young and would often sit around with his guitar. His father, who was a judge and also loved music, would play along with him. This made Vince really happy. Everything changed when Vince was just 11 years old. That was the year his older half-brother Bob got hurt badly in a car accident. Bob was in a coma for 3 months. When he finally woke up, he was lucky to be alive. The accident had left him with brain damage that would never go away. Vince's childhood was never the same after that. Vince saw his brother suffer a lot. His brother could not take care of himself anymore. He could not live the life he used to live. This was very sad for Vince because his brother was still alive. He could not speak. Vince loved his brother much. Vince's parents were very sad too. They had a time dealing with their feelings. They had to get used to this life. This made Vince very sad. It stayed with him forever. Vince's brother Bob was sick for 25 years. Then he died in 1993. That was the year Vince made his Christmas album called Let There Be Peace on Earth. Vince remembered his brother Bob and the pain he felt. One song from the album, It Won't Be the Same This Year, really came from a sad time in Vince's life. This sad time had an effect on Vince and his music. The music that Vince makes is very emotional because of what happened to him. Vince's singing style is very soft and gentle. The album It Won't Be the Same This Year and all of Vince's music sounds very sincere and honest, and it feels like it is coming from a person. It feels deeply human. Vince's music is special because it is so honest and sincere. Vince Gill was a known musician in Nashville by the late 1980s. People thought he was a guitarist and singer. Even though Vince Gill was a great guitarist and singer, his own albums were not selling very well. Then something big happened that could have changed Vince Gill's life forever. Mark Knopfler, who was the leader of the band Dire Straits, asked Vince Gill to join the band. This was a big deal because Dire Straits was one of the most popular bands in the world at that time. For musicians, getting to join a band like Dire Straits would mean playing in front of huge crowds, being famous all over the world, and having a lot of money. Vince Gill was being given a chance to do all of these things with Dire Straits. Vince said no to the invitation. Vince explained that joining Dire Straits might have cost Vince's own voice and stopped Vince from telling Vince's own stories. The decision was a risk, and for years Vince struggled with doubt. Vince performed in venues and wondered if Vince had chosen the wrong path. Everything changed when Vince released When I Call Your Name. This song showed people how good Vince's voice was and how well Vince could write songs. Vince's song earned Vince his Grammy Award. That moment made it clear that he had made the decision. He was happy that he followed his path. This was a choice than following someone else's dream. The moment showed him that following his path was the right thing to do. He felt good about his decision to follow his path. Vince had a lot of things going on in his life that were really tough for him. This was a test for him. In 1993, Vince met Amy Grant, a Christian music star, when they were working on a Christmas special together. When Vince and Amy Grant met for the time, they really hit it off. Vince and Amy Grant felt a connection that was not about music. At that time, Vince was married to Janice Oliver and Amy Grant was married to Gary Chapman. Vince and Amy Grant tried to be respectful of their marriages. As time went on, Vince and Amy Grant started to feel really close to each other. By the 1990s, Vince was not married to Janice Oliver anymore, and Amy Grant was not married to Gary Chapman anymore. Vince and Amy's relationship soon got a lot of attention for Amy. She had to deal with a lot of criticism from people who were Christian. People were judging them. Vince and Amy did not care. They loved each other. They got married in 2000. It was a wedding with just their friends and family there. Vince said that the toughest part was that people did not understand Vince and Amy. A lot of people thought that Vince and Amy did not think about their actions, when really Vince and Amy's love was based on being kind to each other, waiting for each other, and having faith in each other. Today, the marriage of this couple is really strong. They are a team. The marriage of this couple shows that love can get through times. The marriage of this couple is one of the partnerships in music. Then in 2022, Amy had an accident on her bike. She hurt her brain, had trouble remembering things, and keeping her balance. Vince and Amy's marriage faced this problem too. Amy had to deal with a brain injury and memory loss from the bike accident. Vince stopped doing concerts so he could take care of her. He said that no show was more important than her being okay. At that time, his song, When My Amy Prays, meant a lot more because it was like a message to her. This showed everyone that their marriage was not about being together because it was easy, but because they really loved each other. The people who did not think they were a couple before started to think they were really great because of how much they cared for each other and how strong their relationship was. Vince and Amy had a strong marriage, and people could see that. The song When My Amy Prays was like a gift to Amy from Vince. Vince Gill is still writing music that comes from the heart. He is 67 years old now. Vince Gill says that the songs he is writing these days are the ones he has ever written. He does not write songs to be popular. Vince Gill writes songs that help people feel better and that people can relate to. Vince Gill wrote a song called Changed in 2019. This song was the very sad topic of children being hurt when they are little. Vince Gill was honest and kind when he wrote this song. He gave a voice to people who are suffering, who do not talk about it. Vince Gill has a voice that feels like you have heard it before. It makes you feel better. When you listen to him sing Go Rest on That Mountain, it does not feel like he is performing. It feels like he is saying a prayer to help people feel a little better when they are sad. People play this song at funerals, when someone is remembering a person who died, and at times when people are feeling sad. This makes Vince Gill more than a famous country music singer. He is like a friend to people who are feeling sad and missing someone. Vince Gill is someone who helps people when they are feeling sad. He does this through his music, especially when he sings Go Rest High on That Mountain. Vince Gill has gotten a lot of awards over the years, like 22 Grammy Awards and other honors. He is also in the Country Music Hall of Fame. What makes Vince Gill's story really mean something is not just that he has done well in his job. It is also about the things he went through and the choices he made. Vince Gill is 67 years old now. He has talked about the times he had like very sad things that happened to him, decisions about his music career that were not safe, and his love life that people judged him for. Vince Gill's story is powerful because of all these things. These thoughts make his career more special and show us that being really great usually comes from being true to ourselves when we are happy and when we are sad. His career is very respected. These reflections add deeper meaning to his career and remind us that true greatness often comes from living honestly through both joy and sorrow, which is what his career is all about, a true greatness that comes from living honestly. Vince Gill was really good at playing the guitar and singing harmony by the 1980s. He played music with Pure Prairie League, was even the leader of the band for a while, which made musicians in Nashville think he was great. Vince Gill was not very well known by a lot of people. He made 2 albums by himself that people liked. They did not sell very many copies. Then something big happened. Mark Knopfler asked Vince Gill to join the band Dire Straits when they were extremely popular. This was a deal for Vince Gill. The idea of playing to stadiums and being famous all around the world made it hard for Vince to say no. He turned it down because he wanted to make his own kind of music, not just sing songs that other people had written. For a while he wondered if he had made a mistake, especially when things were tough, and he had to open for bands. Then something big happened in 1989. Vince's album, When I Call Your Name, came out. It changed everything for him. The song When I Call Your Name was a big hit, and it even won him a Grammy Award, which meant he was now a big part of country music. He said that he would rather be himself in a club. This is because he wants to be true to who he is. He does not want to be someone even if that means performing in a huge arena. This way of thinking is very important to him. It is what his career is built on. He is about being honest, and that is what makes his music career strong. The music career of him is based on this honesty. In 1993, Vince Gill met Amy Grant when they were filming a Christmas special. At that time, Amy Grant was really famous for her Christian pop music. People called her the Queen of Pop. Vince Gill was becoming well known as a country music artist. He was also known for being a kind and sincere person. Then Vince Gill was married to Janice Oliver. They had a daughter together. Amy Grant was married to a singer named Gary Chapman. As time went on, Vince Gill and Amy Grant became friends. They worked on music together, performed on stage together. After a while, their marriages ended. This happened in the 1990s. Then Vince Gill and Amy Grant decided to start a life together. Vince Gill and Amy Grant chose to build a life with each other. The way Amy and Vince were together got a lot of criticism. People were especially hard on Amy because she got divorced, and that did not fit with the image people had of her from her music. She sings music. Some radio stations would not play her songs anymore. She had to deal with people judging her. It was very painful for her. Vince said that all the mean things people said really hurt them. He thought their relationship was good because it was based on caring about each other, loving each other, and having faith. Amy and Vince got married in March 2000. They had a wedding with just their family and friend there. Now, then 20 years later, Amy and Vince are still married and their relationship is still strong. This shows that Amy and Vince really are committed to each other. When Glenn Frey died in 2016, a lot of people thought the Eagles were done. Don Henley felt the way at first. Then the Eagles asked Vince Gill to join the band with Deacon Frey. Vince Gill had always loved the Eagles and their music. He had a voice that was warm and perfect for keeping Glenn Frey's memory alive. Vince Gill did not think of himself as replacing Glenn Frey. He just wanted to play the Eagles' music and pay tribute to Glenn Frey and the Eagles. In 2017, he performed with the Eagles for the first time at Dodger Stadium before a crowd of more than 50,000 people, who responded with deep emotion and respect.